Peace. So now we should be caught up to speed. We decided to just come back. So uh, shout out to a couple of people that I had some dialogue with in the comment section of the last video. Like I said, shout out to a couple of the people that I had some dialogue with in the comment section of the last video. Brother Jabbar, we had a little dialogue. Everything was positive. Everything was peace. You know what I'm saying? But once again, it's Brother Jabbar, you too, Fahim. Look, y'all are not arguing with me. See, you disagreeing with Elijah Muhammad. See, what's happening is Elijah Muhammad has spoken, right? And then y'all are doing what y'all accuse the 5% of doing, right? Is you giving me your interpretation of what Elijah said when he said clearly what he said. You know what I mean? But look, we're gonna build, right? We're gonna build here today. We're gonna let Elijah Muhammad speak for himself, right? Now look, I'm gonna be highlighting some things here, right? Because there's a purpose that I made the video for and everything. But everybody, especially if you're new to the knowledge, right? Pay attention to the whole video. We're gonna be watching the whole thing. First of all, one thing about me, I know I love context. Like, I don't like to take the truth out of the context. I don't want to take it out of the environment, the time, and the space that it was meant to be in. So we're gonna be listening to the whole thing for that purpose, but also, right, pay attention because he's not just talking about the stuff that I'm making a point about. In this history of W.F. Muhammad is covered. The making of the devil is covered. The deportation of the moon is covered. The science of the tribe of Shabazz is covered. So this is definitely, this is full of jewels right here. You know what I'm saying? So, this is one of those instances where, you gotta pay attention, man, and draw this up for yourself, and not necessarily get caught up in what I'm saying. Even though I have my point I'm making on this one right here, right, it's more important that, you observe this carefully for what it is. So once again, this is the Buzz Anderson interview, right? I found a little bit better copy this time, right? This is from, let me scroll this up so you can see this. This is NOI Arts. Apparently, you can see here that it says remastered in 2023. You know what I'm saying? So, because we observing this right here, we're going to be observing Elijah Muhammad. So, shout out to this page right here, NOI Arts. You know what I'm saying? Go over there. I'm sure they have some other very useful videos on this page. You know what I'm saying? But right now, we're going to set this off from the beginning and let Elijah do the talking.
The characteristics of the white man is evil. He was made like that through nature, now we say. Naturally, he was made like that. We would say than the devil. We can say a devil cat out there, a devil element, a devil we could call most any grafted thing a devil, you see. But actually, when we say Satan, we mean a man or a people that their weakness is not, say, confined to themselves. It spreads, and the others is affected by their wickedness. And the white man, we say, is the devil. Why? Because of his weak physically coming into being from original man, aboriginal people of the earth. When I met him, uh, I looked at him and he, uh, well, it just came to me like this, that this is the Son of Man that the Bible say that will prophesy that will come in the last days of the world, and that I couldn't get that out of me. And I shook hands with him, and I said to him, I say, you are the one that the Bible prophesies that will come at the end of the world under the name Son of Man and under the name the second coming of Jesus. And so
Now, here's something that I noticed throughout this video. Right now, for the most part, we this is Elijah Muhammad, so we're gonna let him cook, right? But it's just an observation that I made, right? If you study 120 lessons, then you see that the Quran is mentioned in the knowledge degree, right, at the 140, but Bible verses are actually in the lessons. And so you're going to see how, what I observe here, throughout this video is that, especially when he references these early days, right, a lot of the keys that he mentioned, they come out of the Bible.
oh, he looked at me a little stern, and then he smiled and he put his head down to my beside my head, then whispered in my ear and said these words. He said, "Yes, I am the one, but who knows that? Uh, but yourself, and be quiet." His mother, he says, was a white woman, and his father was a black man. Yes, sir. He taught us that he was born in Mecca, Arabia, and that he had come in and out of this country for about 20 years before ever that he made himself known to us. He had studied, he says, out here, or rather he had enrolled in the California University there, and he lived with the white family out there, he says, while he was going to the University of California. How long he went to this university, I don't know. But he says to me that he did go to this university and enrolled. And other universities he mentioned to me. And finally, he told me this, that he had studied every educational systems of the civilized world, and that he could speak and, well, speak 16 languages and write 10 of them. He could speak 16 fluently. Well, I was not too much learned into scripture at that time, and I had not studied too much, but I had from a child up wanted to learn the scripture because my father was a preacher, and I always from a child up wanted to help him or take his place one day as a preacher. And so I was always studying the Bible, and I had read much about the coming of the judgment and the coming of God and Jesus returning to resurrect the dead and all like that. I had studied much of that. And so all of his talk and teachings correspond with what I had learned of the scripture. And therefore I become one of his, I should say 100% convert. And on his leave of us, he began to tell me what I may expect, what will come to pass, and what I should do to try and make my people qualified, or rather to reform them and make them accepted by the Islamic people, and teach them that they must change completely in the way of righteousness, and that they would have to forego the name that they was in, and that he would give them all a name himself. And much he said to me. He used to teach me night and day. We used to sit sometime from early part of the night until sunrise and after sunrise, all night long for about 2 years or more. He was with us 3 years, a little better, and I was constantly around him, and he was constantly teaching me of things of Islam and what is to come and what was before. And this is the way that we began. And he patted his hand on my shoulder, give me kind of a little show, a way around it. And there was some more there at present. And he started talking to him. And about a month later, he told my wife to tell me to go ahead and start teaching out there in the little part of, uh, I would say it's not a little part now, it's a very large part in Hammett, Michigan. That's in Detroit. Hamtramck is in Detroit. And I was living in Hamtramck at that time. So he says to my wife, you tell him that he can go ahead because I had wrote him. And he received my letter. And I was telling him what I could not tell him there in the public. And then he says to me, you go ahead and start teaching, and I will back you up. And I started teaching that he was the answer to the prophecy of the coming of Jesus 2,000 years after Jesus' birth, and that this is the man at that time. And so I did begin teaching that for the Son of Man, the second coming of Jesus is present. This is him now, here among us. But he didn't allow me to go too far with that kind of teachings while he was present. He told me, he said, you can do that after I'm gone. He said, don't talk too much about me. He says, no. He says, give them a little milk. That's the way he talked all the time. And he never would say anything hardly just direct. He would give it to you in a way that you would have to learn just exactly what he meant by what he said. And so he says, you cannot give babies meat. And I understood what he was referring to. And so he said, give little baby milk. He said, when I'm gone, he said, then you can say whatever you want to about me. And that was about it. And he named all of my family Muhammad.
Where did Brother Muhammad come from? And
He says to me that he had been studying for us what he meant to teach us and to reform us for 42 years, he says to me. And that his father, he says, uh, I should let the world know these things, what he said to me. And as I never have went too much into his birth and into his sayings of what took place, so I am going to tell this. I intend to give a full description of it on the 26th of next month in Chicago. Give it in details. But at this time, I can say this, that he told me that his father wanted a son that would go and search for the lost people of our time. He said they had it in the Quran, they had it in the Bible, scriptures, that there would be a lost member at the time of the resurrection, and that they had to find that one because it did not give the location. He says his father wanted to make a son that was would be able, pardon my language, to go and search all the civilizations of the earth to locate these people. And when he finds them, he would be able to teach them and make a disciple of his own of them to teach them and try and get them together and return them again to their own people. And so he said he was that man.
You see how many times have I told y'all that that's why I love Elijah? See, Elijah is one of us. How many times have I said that, look, we got to save ourselves I mean, in terms of him giving us the knowledge. But what we have to do with that knowledge is save ourselves.
And his father, first child, was a girl. And so he smiled and he said he had to make another try for me. And he said that his father was darker than any us that he was talking to at the time. So he's a real dark man. He was still alive. And he said, this is the way that this took place. He says, and now, he says, I'm here, and I want you to know, he says, I love you, and my father made me for you, and that we want you to know yourself and put you on to your own kind. And that is what that he taught, and that of us, about our being away from our people, and that we was unqualified now to mix with them because they were Islam people and we were not, and that we didn't even know who we were. And so that was true, and that was easy to get over to us. And I taken all of this and I taught my people and been teaching them the same. But I never did go into his birth and how his father trained him and what all he said about that. Because I feared my people would not believe, since that they believe mostly spiritual. God is a spirit or something like that, and it's not flesh and blood. He's not visible. And this I'm very slower about getting over to my people, but now they will just have to take it or leave it. These are facts, and this is according to the Bible, that the Son of Man would come, and not a son of a spirit. And this I want to make clear to them and those who believe in the spirit being God and not man. Main base of it all now is to show forth who is God, and he's not what they has thought he was. That he's in man and man is God. And so that is the way that goes. And in Chicago,
So, this is why, see, God has to be living. See, anytime you teaching about something that people cannot see, invisible, if you teaching about some people that ain't here now or ain't here yet, then you might as well go back to the religion.
the 26th of next month, I will go into detail for his birth and his childhood and his manhood. And so forth, scripture that is relating to this coming of God in man. And the Son there, as the scholars know, it only means way he has given it to me, that he was born from his father, and that, well, who after the lost found sheep about to call it, and that Jesus made it in beautiful parables, that he will search for the lost sheep and all like that. So it all now has been fulfilled, and this is it now that we are living in, and that my work from him is to teach my people these facts and to reform them and make them what they should be, as they are children, as the Bible teaches from God, but they are lost in evil and practice evil, and that they must now forego evil and accept righteousness because they are preachers of righteousness.
What happened to Farad Muhammad? Why did he disappear?
Well, that happened like this. After he had given to me what he wanted to uh, give to me uh, as the teachings and the work of preparedness of our people, then it was not necessary for him to remain here among us. So he taken his leave, as it is said in Quran that the people is not worthy that God remain among them, but he makes a messenger of that people. That through that messenger he will reach the people through him, and the Bible is verified saying. And so he left, and that he gave me hint about his return, but now there is just as much prophesied that he will return or he will not return as there is of his returning. Because the Bible say he will send his angels and they will take care the gathering of his people. I don't expect him to return in person, not like that.
Ah, man, he just crushed a lot of y'all dreams right there. So I guess there's no mothership. I don't know about the 17th now. I don't know about December 17th now. December 19th, actually. 17th is when you got to have your money in. But apparently, Elijah Muhammad is not expecting for it to come back.
The Bible say he will send his angels and they will take care the gathering of his people. I don't expect him to return in person, not like that, because there is too much for us to look forward to that he will not. It is not really necessary if he's going to send his own people, as they refer to angels, to gather the believers of my people. It's not necessary.
Where did he go and where is he now?
Well, that is something that we actually cannot say. If one would open up such truth as the truth of God to the people, I do think that he's within his rights to stay out of the sight of the people until he has uh, won everything to himself, as the Bible refers us to it like this, that he's something like a king looking for a kingdom, and that he go and he visit the people, and then he leaves the people and goes away and wait until the time when that he can secure the kingdom. Then he returns to the people that he had made himself manifest to. So I think that is a pretty good answer. Yes. According to what Master Farad Muhammad taught me on the race question, the origin of the races, uh, in the beginning of the races, they numbered around four. And from these four races of people, they has produced many different types of people. But they are not, say, independent in the beginning. They came from one. We say today we have lots of various colored people all over the earth, from we say from brown to white. We are not all the same color due to intermixing with such colors as black, brown, yellow, and red and white. This has produced many other various colors. And the origin of it, according to the teachings of Master Farad Muhammad, to me, was from a scientist.
Hold up for a second. Yo, Prime Phoenix, you might not be ready for this particular live stream. I'm not exactly sure, but uh, you know, everybody got qualified, disqualify themselves, right? But you might not be ready for this one. We're gonna take it back a little bit right there. That's my bad for interrupting. But Prime Phoenix, be careful.
Four races of people, they has produced many different types of people. But they are not, say, independent in the beginning. They came from one. We say today we have lots of various colored people all over the earth, from we say from brown to white. We are not all the same color due to intermixing with such colors as black, brown, yellow, and red and white. This has produced it many other various colors. And the origin of it, according to the teachings of Master Farad Muhammad, to me, was from a scientist, a God. We see him. We see him as a God. Back 6,000 years ago, started we say, a scientific, or I should say, a master grafting work on the human being to produce a new civilization, a new race of people from the original race of people, our Aboriginal people. This man, Yaqub, who discovered in the dream of the black man that he had two people in him, and that he had learned through study and experimenting on germs that this second germ could produce a powerful people that would be able to rule that which they came from for around 6,000 years until the father, the Aboriginal, produces one superior to his man. And that was this, that he taken through experimental work on the germ of man, a people of what we call today a white race. But before he produced it, that white race, he produced it a brown race. He produced it a yellow race, and so on. There is his first grafting from the black man according to the teachings of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom we see him and know him today as being God in person. That this grafting, uh, in its first stage, he had a brown race of people from a black people. And it taken him, according to the teachings of God, 200 years to produce that brown race. And he kept up the process of killing off the browner or the darker one and marrying the lighter one onto the lighter one. For another 200 years, he had yellow race of people. And in this length of time, these brown people were spreading over the area, I would say migrating over the earth to find them a home to themselves. And so when the yellow race was produced, he started too, migrating over the earth. And from the yellow race, about 200 years, this grafting kept in process. Uh, they, there was on the same islet, well, it was an islet he was on, according to the teachings of Almighty God to me, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. At that time, 200 years, keeping up birth control law. This is what he established. He established it on this islet, and there was his lab that he was working, we call it a human lab, to produce his man. And from this yellow race, he had a white race 200 years later from then. And this was the end of his work. This was the man he was trying to get to. That was our white race. And that made it in the total time of his grafting out of black, white, 600 years. And this figure tallies with the Bible's teaching of the man being created in 6 days. This days here you have means a thousand, pardon me, 100 years each, 600 years. And this also tallies with the creation of the universe. That's the whole entire universe, according to the Quran, was also created in six periods of time. And so Mr. Yaqub, the mighty scientist of that time, he produced his man on six because it did tally with the creation of the universe, and it was to this number that he could not further his work. And they would be masters, gods, to rule the earth and the people, everything of life for 6,000 years. And at the end of 6,000 years, the Aboriginal people will have at that time produced it another one, mightier than Yaqub in wisdom and knowledge. And he would be equal with that one that created the heavens and the earth. And he would have the power and the infinitive wisdom to make his word be as the first one. And this is the man we have before us today. The whole praise is due. Master Farad Muhammad is that man that have the wisdom or the knowledge, excuse me, of how the creation took place in the first place. That's what I mean, the creation of the universe, how it took place, and how life and everything began, down to 6,000 years of Mr. Yaqub and his world, and the knowledge of the world to come, of which he himself is the God of. He's the God of the next world. He's planting it now. And that world that he will set up, we see now gradually merging in, will be forever. There will be no change in that one because, well, the scientists just don't see through the future any other change. And they don't have too much knowledge of his change, as he has not let go yet. He brought me up pretty close, but he has not as yet opened up as we have in Bible and Quran. I have not seen and I have not heard, and it has not entered into the heart of us what that he will do. But we get little inklings now. We are right in his time. And we do know that he's going to bring about a complete change. As I study now for 33 years after his coming, I have learned my own self from study of his words, what he said to me. That it won't be a world like we see today, nothing of the kind, not even to the Orthodox Muslim. Their world will not even be considered in his world. As the master scientist of God 6,000 years ago, Mr. Yaqub, he did not make this world, your world, on the basis of our world. We have a complete new world and a new people in you. So will the great Mahdi, Master Farad Muhammad, he will also build a new world and a new people. And he did tell me that how that we would start taking a change in a new people. Now, just exactly what we will look like, I'm not too sure of that, but I do believe that he's going right back at the origin, but he's going to make a better people. What I mean to say, a people that will be more stronger physically, and they will be taught in such way that they can live much longer. Individual will live probably 1,000 or more years, and teaching something about the history, not the history, but about the people on Mars. He often would refer to me that just think of them living 1,200 of our Earth years. He says, and we die in less than 100 years. It gives me an idea that he wants to make a people that will live 1,000 or more years.
The black man was the first. We don't record of this black man. We have a record of the birth of others except the black man. There is no birth record of the black man. He is the original or aboriginal man of the earth. And we don't have any, we say, dated of this man's beginning of his civilization and whereabouts. Because we once was with the moon, or the moon and the earth was together once upon a time, and cannot be a specific spot pointed out where that it actually took place of his building of civilization. But we do know, according to the teachings of Almighty God, Allah to me, that once upon a time that we had nothing in the universe but the sun. And that after that, why, then they made a star. And from stars to stars and stars and stars. And they saw that the star was essential to our well-being. And from that, we began to make planets. And there is between the creation of the sun and the earth 6 trillion years between the two. And it is often referred to that the universe was made or created in the 3 stages, or we say 3 divisions of it. 2 trillion years to each. And the present moon that we have, which is now 66 trillion years old itself, or rather being in the position that it's in. It originally was about 56,000 miles from this part, or rather, when she was taken from this part. It was drawn out of the orbit of that, at that time, 36,000 miles, and that part that we are looking at today, it dropped from the original orbit 12,000 miles, lost all its water on this part. That's why she's without water. It's due to the explosion at that time, 66 trillion years ago. She lost her water by turning over. She turned all over, and the water dropped on this part. And that give us then three-fourths of our surface covered in water because we have the water from that part.
The one thing I'm making an observation right here, right? This is 1964, right? So Elijah's 67 right here, right? And he's rattling off these numbers. I'm just saying, look, I got a question. Tell me again why it's so hard for y'all to learn y'all lessons. Because, look. How come Elijah ain't get so old, right? You get these people that, look, I'm beyond all that. I don't see one thing I noticed, right, is look, they said the same thing about Allah. Razor sharp.
The original man did that. He was the man, rather we say a god, a scientist that brought about that explosion due to his dissatisfaction of not being able to have all the people he liked and having them speaking the same dialect. So he got angry because he could make them speak the same dialect all the way around, as our planet at that time was something better than 10,000 miles in diameter, while it's around 8,000 now near. And he getting vexed with his own wisdom, unable to do with the people what he wanted to do with them. He goes then and tries to destroy us. His aim was not to make a moon, a satellite for a planet. We had at that time, according to the teachings of God to me, Mars for our moon. It served as our at that time. What I mean, before ever this scientist tried to destroy us. And since he was unable to destroy us, we was lucky to come with this part. The people on the other part was destroyed, but we was lucky to come with this part. And we were called at that time the Aboriginal people, and we are the Aboriginal people today. And in the 6 trillion years before that time, in the creation of light and water, it was the black man.
And the black man has no beginning and no end.
No beginning, no end. And you can't find no history that will give you the birth of the black man. He has always been.
Well, then, since we have no beginning or no end for the black man, the birth, how do you explain, and what is your doctrine on the origin of the Caucasian race?
Well, the Caucasian race came about, as they are called, white people. And they were white people. It was made that Caucasian is a name given to the quality of the man, means the origin, weak bone and stale face. The person have a stale color and his bones are weak and the color Caucasian. But actually he was made white. This was brought about, we would consider just recently. To talking into billions and trillions of years, the Caucasian race, their birth is just here of today almost. That took place 6,000 years ago. The black man, he is the father of the Caucasian race. His name was Yaqub. They call him Jacob in English, but Arabic is Yaqub. He discovered in the dream of the black man that there were two people, and that instead in the dream, he learned to divide the dream. And he said, if I can take the dream now, this brown one, and separate it from the dark one, I can make this brown germ here rule the black germ until the black germ produce one that is better than I. And he, being a very wise scientist, he knew what was coming in the future. So he says, my man will live for 6,000 years, and he will rule his father. And after that, he says, then his brother will come from the east, and he will eat my man up after 6,000 years. So this man discovered this, as I first said, according to the teachings of Almighty God to me, by the joint. And it still can be proven today that the black man have two people in it.
How, sir?
Yes, sir. You have two.
How can this be proved?
And by the joint. The joint you have here. Take for an instance. Well, let me come to the surface first. You go to the darkest people that you can find in Africa, where that they has never been touched by Caucasian people, and you will find that one will be a little shader browner than the other. And this man set up a birth control law to take that browner one and marry the browner one on to the browner one and kill off the black. And he kept this going for 600 years. First, he had a little brown race of people after 200 years. And the next 200 years, he had a little yellow race of people, or red race, you say. And the next 200 years, he had a pale white.
Method of birth control.
Yes, he killed the black baby and saved the brown one. Or killed the brown one, saved the brown one. Killed the brown one and saved the yellow one. Until he run it into his last stage. And the last stage is white. And that can be done today. It is not nothing that is a mystery, impossible. It can be done today. But I don't think that they want any more threats. I think they've about got enough of that. Yes, and the black is the original. He's the father of them all.
All these other races are derivatives of the black race.
That's right. That's right.
There was something that was mentioned in Volume 2 of the Supreme Wisdom about some of the physical attributes of the Negro, of the black man. Kinky hair, for example. And there was some site made as to a scientist who had withdrawn himself from his people. Would you explain
Yes, that happened 50,000 years ago, according to the teachings of Allah to me, which I was with him for 3 years, night and day. I didn't do anything, and he didn't allow me to do anything. He taught me for 3 years, night and day, 7 days a week. I mean, I was confined. I was jailed almost. I had no chance to do anything but just to listen to him.
and learn?
And so that's right. And he would carry me out of the city sometimes in his little Chevrolet coupe. And we would sit out there sometime 2 or 3 hours at night, and he would talk to me about the stars and planets and how wrong this was making and whatnot. And so this scientist, 50,000 years ago, as they are today, they always meet together and discuss, major things that is going to take place. And each one, passes his own judgment of, we say, vote on whether or not it should be done. So this man, he wanted to, his name was Shabazz. He wanted to make a people different from what we had at that time, and he wanted people that could live in the jungles of East Asia and be able to withstand the hot sun and the wild beasts, anything. He wanted to make a tough man. That don't mean now we was not black. Now we was black right on, but we was more delicate, and tender than the man that he produced. So he says to the 11 scientists, if you agree with me, he says, we can produce the people to conquer the jungles of East Asia, as they call it Africa today. And he said we could conquer this part of our planet with this type of people. So he gave them the description and the method how to go about it. And he went and waited on answers, and they never would agree with him. And finally, he said he will not agree with the other 11. He would take his family himself and go and live there and prove to them that he could produce a people that would conquer the jungles of East Asia. And that's where it come in.
Was this the origin then of the tribe of Shabazz?
Yes, sir. That's the origin of it.
Something you speak very frequently of is self-knowledge. Now, what does this mean?
Self-knowledge is what I am saying now. This is self-knowledge. We have never had the knowledge of ourselves since that we were brought here for slave purposes. We didn't know anything about ourselves. Our grandparents and parents, many of them today who have not heard the ancient history of their people, don't know who they are. And we say, we teach him the knowledge of himself, meaning that he don't know himself. Our people don't know themselves, the average one, because he cannot give any history of himself only from the time that he was put here in the cotton fields of the South. And that history he's gotten from his slave master. He know nothing beyond. And this is to give him a knowledge of his fathers and the origin of everything except himself. He cannot get the origin of himself. That would be given to him his birthright. And therefore, you can't give him the origin of himself because you can't give him the birth. Got no birth. He's, we could say that, as God said to me, when I asked him, was not there a beginning? We often, wrangling over the beginning. How did the atom of life begin in the universe? That is such wisdom that we don't like to talk on because you bound to different from me and I'm going to different from you because there is no date for it. And to say how it comes in action, taking on activity, uh, we don't like to go in because it's just too much. And I wouldn't like for you to ask me further on that because I don't like to talk on it. Give you too much talk. You've got to go so far. It's too much talk.
But you are in your teachings trying to get the so-called American Negro to know his beginning, something
Yes,
of himself.
the black man of America. He's not a Negro. This is the slave master's name given to our fathers under slavery. There's no such thing as a race or nation of Negroes. You don't find that nowhere. This is our people's slang name given by the white slave masters. Well, he had in it. Let's take a look into why did he call us Negroes after he made us slave? Well, we was pretty dumb when he brought us here. It's not that we can say that we were smart, we were wise. No, that we would not have come here. He could not have brought us here. We was not too smart. And so, after depriving us of the knowledge of ourselves, knowledge of our name, the knowledge of our language, of our people, knowledge of our people's history, he called us Negro. Negro means something that is dead, lifeless, neutral. It's a neutral thing. It's something that you have to move or you put it down. Well, it will stay right there until that you move it again. It is not something that it have any power of itself. It's it's moved by the power of another. So he gave us this name, and it means something that is dead and lifeless, and that goes for mental power. After being deprived of the knowledge of yourself, then you're considered mentally dead. And so the book translated, the Bible translated 400 and some years ago, or about 50 some years ago now, I think it is. Uh, they put in there the resurrection of the dead. When the resurrection of the dead come, that would be the judgment. The resurrection only means the mentally dead people. We are the people to be resurrected. And when the resurrection of the so-called Negro or the black man of America, when he is resurrected into the knowledge of self and in the knowledge of God and the devil, then that's the end of the world. And this is it now going on. This is the end of the white man's world. Uh, According to the history, scientists, and science, you can take it for granted. It is the end, and this must be done in order to not to give injustice to a person that have no knowledge of what it is all about. So before the God can destroy the world, he must give us a knowledge of why he is destroying. And why are you killing me? He don't do things unjust. And so he always, according to the Holy Quran, he makes a people aware of why that he destroys them or chastises them.
You mentioned that the American Negro is being resurrected to knowledge of himself, self-knowledge. Mr. Muhammad, how did you receive this self-knowledge?
I receive this knowledge that I'm teaching and that I'm putting my life against, that if you can prove it other than the truth, from God in the person.
Hold on, this is an interesting question right here from Photosynthesis 7. You said, why care what this religious dude says? That's quite a statement. So, Photosynthesis 7, right? And pardon me, everybody. I know we look. I've been letting them cook. I've been letting Elijah cook, but I gotta ask this, right? Because see, a few people, I don't know what it is. Generally speaking, right? I'm good with being patient, but you know, it's something about people talking while Elijah is talking up there, you know. So, do you know 120 lessons photosynthesis? You know 120 lessons, right? So you do know that this brother's name is in the 40th degree, right? Okay, so let me ask you a question, right? You said you know that his name is in the 40th degree. So do you know about the science of Musa? Do you know about the science of Columbus? Do you know about the science of John Harding Hawkins? So you know the mythology of Musa and the history of the other two. So if you know about that, right? You said you know about the mythology of it, right? And you know about the history of Columbus and and John Harding Hawkins. So what is it that what eliminates Elijah Muhammad from that group of people that you also know about? You're studying all these things from uh, the diameter of planet Earth to the Crusades. Because we filter our history and science through Almighty God Allah. Who's Almighty God Allah? And what is this filtering history and science? Is there anybody else on here who has filtered history and science? You said his messenger does not have the one, two, and three. So I see what the situation is. If we have some moderators in here, right? Get photosynthesis out of here. You can see what it is. This is not for you. See, apparently you have that degree of knowledge, and that happens sometimes. Like, that's why you graduate to junior high school, because all the knowledge that's in elementary school, you already got it. So, I understand perfectly, you know, but be careful with that when you say we are, because I don't even know your name. I didn't say you was Muslim. I didn't say you was Muslim at all. You see, listen, see, let me go back to the beginning. See, we're doing the knowledge. Now, if that can happen, right? You already know this, right? You've already risen above that. That's fine and good. But see, we have people, right, who they're just being exposed right now to this knowledge. Yo, who is this guy? You want to keep us roped under this man's wisdom? This is apparently the first time. This is apparently your first time on this channel. this, this is this is apparently your first time on this channel. So look, moderators, here is this guy.
One, Mr. Farad Muhammad. He used the name Farad Muhammad. When he first made himself known to me and others, he used just the Farad, Wallace Farad. And he had an initial in between there that I never knew what that initial stood for. And that was a W. D. Wallace D. Farad is what he give to us. Then in the third year, on his departure, he told me that his name was Wallace Farad Muhammad, W.F. Muhammad. Right there.
This was the first time that he revealed his name to you.
First time he put the Muhammad to it. Yes. So I studied that then. From what he gave to me to study, he gave to me a Holy Quran in Arab, and I couldn't read it. So then he goes and gets me a Holy Quran in Arabic and English. And so I taken this book and I studied it from what he lined me up with. He gave me a copy of Texas and places and other books. He gave to me the names of 104 books that is in the Congressional Library in Washington. And I studied them for 7 years. They're up and down the East Coast. And I have the one that he gave to me, given about 2/3 of it to study. The other third, he said, didn't amount to anything because that would be probably in some other man's time and not our time, and we shouldn't be worried about what the other fellow have to do. Let him worry over that.
So look, this is one of the this is one of the spots right here that me and Brother Jabbar was discussing, right? About who is that one. Hey, listen, photosynthesis, here's the thing. Homosexuality is not really, the brothers that deal with Islam, they don't deal with homosexuality that much. So I can't remember your name now, but Wakil student. What's his name again? Whatever your name is. See, the fact that you keep coming on here with these various names stalking me, right, is what's making me say, look, you got to pause. You understand what I mean? Because it's okay. You know, I know you from Atlanta, right? Shout out to Atlanta, right? This is not a shot at everybody, but I know this guy's from Atlanta. I'm just telling you that, look, this is a family channel, right? That the gods and the earths, right? We deal with man, woman, and child. You cannot listen. You have to live that out, brother. Somewhere down the line, man, you got to, you got to figure out, right, that inner conflict, because it's bothering you, it's destroying your brain cells. And listen, you know, we want the best for everybody. That's one thing about the 5%. We teach all people, all the families. You understand what I'm saying? But look, get yourself together, man. Get yourself together, man. Like, there's people out there, I don't know if this is something that you're doing in the closet, or if the people that's around you know that you do this kind of thing. But get yourself together, man. So yeah, getting back to this over here, right? You know, getting back to this situation over here, right? This is one of the conversations that we had right here concerning, right? Who is that one? Right? Who's the person that's supposed to come and handle that 1/3? Right? There was actually somebody else. It wasn't Brother Jabbar, but he said that the 1/3 was taken care of by Prophet Muhammad 14 years ago, but see, 1400 years ago. But this is not what Elijah Muhammad said. He said that person is going to come and it's going to be their time. Now, see, look, he's saying it. He's saying it right here, right? And so it's taking other people, they need that. You see what I mean? Now, that's one place I can agree with photosynthesis on. You see, some people, they can't just accept the truth. It's got to come from the holy man. But see, in reality, then he been told us this in the lessons, that Allah come in his own good time and take the devil off the planet, right? Didn't he tell us that already? But some people need to hear it like this. You know what I'm saying? So look, shout out Kasib Shop. We gonna look. Now let's just go. I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. I'm gonna bring it back a little bit because I know I just interrupted right there. But let's go.
Up with. He gave me a copy of Texas and places and other books. He gave to me the names of 104 books that is in the Congressional Library in Washington. And I studied them for 7 years. They're up and down the East Coast. And I have the one that he gave to me, given about 2/3 of it to study. The other third, he said, didn't amount to anything because that would be probably in some other man's time and not our time, and we shouldn't be worried about what the other fellow have to do. Let him worry over that. Well, when I first met him, it came to me that he was the man that the Bible prophesied would come in the last days as the Son of Man. And I recognized him to be that, as I had studied Bible ever since I was a little child. When I first learned to read, I learned to read Bible. And I always thought that I would be a preacher, but not a preacher of Islam. I didn't know nothing about Islam. I thought I would be a preacher of the religion of my father. That was Christianity, and he was a Baptist preacher, and I thought maybe I would be one. But I always told them if I ever preach, I would make enemies. I said because my father and the other preachers would not like me if I preach. I said because I see so many things that they are saying and preaching is wrong. And so I went along like that until I was 35 years old before I actually was sent to preach. Then when I met this man, then I told him, I said, you are the one that the Bible teaches that will come, the Son of Man or the Messiah. And so he whispered in my ear, he got close to me, he looked all around, see who heard that. And he whispered in my ear and told me, he said, yes. He said, but keep quiet. He says, don't say anything to him.
So once again, like I said, right there, right, right, we just, you see, this is a difference. This is a difference. Now, see, on the one hand, right, we see that, Ford is not, he's not grandstanding, right? He's not saying, make all of these images of me and stuff, right? He's not saying, bring me all your money. You know what I'm saying? Like wherever he went, people mailed him to get a name, right? Or become Muslim or when you write to your letter, right? But there's no dues that you send, you know what I'm saying? He's not, by what we've seen, there's no real history of him attempting to make himself rich from the people's labor. You know what I'm saying? So, I can see why he's saying, right, on the one hand, don't go out there aggrandizing me, right, at the expense of these people. But that being said, right, the truth has to be revealed. He said that already. And he's going to say it again. You know what I'm saying? So right now, this is, like I said, this is where we got up to, right? We're a little over halfway through, right? And still I notice, right? He's mentioned the Quran a couple of times. He's mentioned the Quran a couple of times, right? But he's mostly speaking about the Bible. And I haven't heard the word Muslim. I don't recall hearing the word Muslim, right? So far. If somebody else heard it, right, type 1 in the comment box right here. Right? But we're gonna pick up right here, right? We're gonna pick up right here. I don't know if that version is clearer where he spoke a little bit, not in terms of what he's saying, but just in terms of the audio recording, right? If it's a little more clear. So, maybe this time you can pick up what he said. Just bring that back a little, just a taste, right? And let's go.
Don't say anything to anyone about that. You say, I will let you know when to say that. My teaching is just that. What I teach them is life. And what I bring them out of into this is death. My mission is the last of the scientists or the truth that is to come to the world before the world is destroyed. You will not have no other messenger. I am the last one. Behind me comes God himself. I don't say I will live so long, but after me, God will come, or if it pleases him, I may be with him. But if I am not with him, this is the last. This truth brings you into the knowledge of yourself and of God. There is nothing hidden too much in the God. In this teachings, you learn what God is and what you could learn to be God yourself. This is God, is the real God teaching. What is God? How things was made and brought about. This is what it is, and this is the last wisdom to be given to the world. And a knowledge of how this world was made. I said that this world was brought about according to God's teaching to me by grafting. The white race is a grafted people. It was grafted from the original people, the dark people. And in making them, we made a brown race, yellow race, and red race to get to the, we said the final of the journey. At the end can't be nothing but white. So that's what the scientist was after. He was after grafting the germ into its last stage. And the last stage was white and blue eyes. And no other race has it. And because the white man is the end of we can't make nothing else. This is what the Holy One refers to as we have tried everything and everything obeyed Allah but man. It is often asked by people, why did God make them? And it's not a bad question to ask, and it's not a bad answer. Many people think that the God that created the heavens and the earth is the same God that created the devil or Satan. We should say Satan, because the meanings is better understood. Because Satan and Arabic language mostly give it that is a person or persons that is evil, and that evil is not confined to oneself. It's evil that affects others. And that is what is actually meant when we say Satan. Satan is a person that is evil, or people that is evil, and that evil affects others.
So now, would you say that the white man is a descendant of Satan?
No, I would not say the white man is a descendant of Satan, because that would be wrong. We didn't have a Satan before white man. So the white man is Satan himself. It is not, he's not a descendant of something. He is what he is in his own sphere, a nation as you are. And that he is not a descendant. The God that created the white man, he created him for a purpose of showing forth wisdom that was yet hidden in the God that was not made manifest. This is the main purpose. It is not a useless thing that the race was created or made, and it's not the God that created the heavens and the earth in truth. This is a rebel or rebel of that God that made this race of people. And he made them not say to attack God, as many scholars on scripture and on the question of devil. and Satan desired to answer. He was not made exactly for all of that, and the man didn't have all of that in his mind. We would say to God that created him. What he actually had in his mind, the idea was this: to make a man just opposite to what we was, or a people just opposite to us in general, a different person, absolutely, without being the nature of us, not having our ideas, but a new people altogether, and to try them at ruling. His main idea was to make a people that could rule us and not be us, and not say that he was angry with the God and wanted to attack God and didn't like God's rule. He was not that type of man. Yakub was very wise, and he was one of the righteous, as the Bible refers to him as being one of the angels. He was. And he lost his place because of what he did. And the Bible don't give to you a clear picture of it.
See, I'm gonna tell y'all the real reason. The real reason why photosynthesis is mad is because Elijah doesn't teach that the woman is God. See, photosynthesis, he hit me on Instagram the other day, right? To say that I was treating him bad somehow because he knows the truth. He's one of those individuals that's like not self-aware, right? So he's always under the impression that he's being persecuted for some reason that don't exist. But that's the real reason why he doesn't want to hear from Elijah Muhammad.
Useless thing that the race was created or made, and it's not the God that created the heavens and the earth in truth. This is a rebel or rebel of that God that made this race of people. And he made them not say to attack God, as many scholars on scripture and on the question of devil and Satan desire to answer. He was not made exactly for all of that, and the man didn't have all of that in his mind. We would say to God that created him. What he actually had in his mind, the idea was this: to make a man just opposite to what we was, or a people just opposite to us in general, a different person, absolutely, without being the nature of us, not having our ideas, but a new people altogether, and to try them at ruling. His main idea was to make a people that could rule us and not be us, and not say that he was angry with the God and wanted to attack God and didn't like God's rule. He was not that type of man. Yakub was very wise, and he was one of the righteous, as the Bible refers to him as being one of the angels. He was. And he lost his place because of what he did. And the Bible don't give to you a clear picture of it. His fall was due to him, not say attacking God in war, as the Bible teaches, but his idea was wrong, and therefore the God would not agree that he makes his man in the what we call today the Holy Land. That if he wanted to make the man, they would agree that he make him, but he must make him out of the spirit of the righteous people, since that his ideal was unrighteous. They exiled him for having the idea of creating unrighteousness to rule righteousness. And he was so powerful at the time that they were actually afraid to oppose his ideas because he was too wise a man. He could have caused a lot of trouble at the time. As the time goes on, as I would like to say right here in this phase of the talk, that men's wisdom lasted or is supreme until and never one that is supreme over his wisdom or have supreme wisdom over him. This is the way the God runs. We don't have just one man's wisdom extending all the time.
Whoa! I want you to look. I need y'all to come out. I need y'all to look. I was waiting. We're gonna bring that back. We're gonna soak into this right here. Because did we just hear Elijah Muhammad say that you cannot just have the wisdom from one man? Is that? Hold on, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Maybe I was mistaken. Maybe I was mistaken. Because it sounded like he said, no, that's the way God moves. But let's check it out one more time.
That they were actually afraid to oppose his ideas because he was too wise a man. He could have caused a lot of trouble at the time. As the time goes on, as I would like to say right here in this phase of the talk, that men's wisdom lasted or is supreme until and never one that is supreme over his wisdom or have supreme wisdom over him. This is the way the God runs. We don't have just one man's wisdom extending all the time. It's another one.
A constant, ever-changing.
Yes, sir. Your wisdom of making this, we say that radio over there, may last for 5 or 6 years until another man learns to make a better one. And then when he learns.
All right, what we got to say about that? You know, I'm sure. Look, I'm sure we gonna be in the comment section tomorrow, brother Jabbar. What you got to say about that? About Elijah saying that there's always one coming. What you got to say about that, Fahim? Right? When you said that, look, I thought that Allah was the one. Yeah, he's the one in his time. And then what did he say? See, I know y'all not too well aware of that. But remember, he said, my best is yet to come. But it's never going to stop with people coming. See, the black, we're the gods. See, that's why it don't say, see, like, and they give you a name, right? Adam, right? You got all these names of these people, but in reality, we realize that most of these characters is composite people. If you a character that represents you know, various people that have saved their people. Right? You got, you know, is multiple people, you know, that's messiahs on various levels in the Bible. So when you say who's that one person, that's not one person for all eternity. See, that's when you find yourself waiting for somebody to come back without realizing that it's really the mindset. It's the mindset in a person choosing themselves and then going through the levels of growth and development, developing this supreme wisdom, right? That our brother Elijah is speaking on. See, that's the difference. See, by him, you think we worship Allah, right, in the way that you worship me. That's what it appeared like to me. That, see, when he says, man, if you really knowledge God, if you really knowledge God, then why would you be worshiping? If you really knowledge God, right, then you will realize that the best knower, right, is not always the same person in all environments at all times. But let's continue.
And to make a better one, you still get the credit for being the first one to make the radio. But they have improved on it. And you come back maybe 100 years from now, you wouldn't know your machine at all. So much improvement has been had. Like the Ford, who made the Ford car, Ford motor, all right? If Ford would look at his car today, he would say he was dumb when he, started making the car because look at the improvement on it. You see, it's not Ford have put all of this improvement to the car, but he was the founder of the car. So it is with wise men in the spiritual work and other scientists that we worship for the God that has made and created. We have them coming at interval when one's wisdom is exhausted, another one picks up and he improves on what you have done. Like the God.
So is Elijah Muhammad saying that what he taught can actually be improved on? Like, what is the point of him, all these statements that he's making right now? Everything for the time that he said that you can't just have one man's wisdom, that there's always one coming. And that one who comes is going to improve, right? Because knowledge is infinite. Not because this person is a less person, but because the one who comes next is going to be able to stand on the one who came first shoulders. See, now we get into the nitty. This is the difference. Now look, when read the comments, right? Everybody who wants to know the difference, look in the comments, right? Look in the comments for this video. And when you hear, right, Fahim's interpretation of all this, you know, which his interpretation is always that you need to go back in the mosque and listen to Elijah Muhammad. But right here, Elijah Muhammad is saying that you have to take that wisdom, right, and add on to it and improve it so that it can be useful to the people in that time. See, like he said that when it comes your time and you have to do your job. See, this is my time. I've done my job, right? With the knowledge and wisdom I got from Forrest, we tell you, right? It's that Forrest's job was to come over here and find somebody to teach. And then his job was to teach his people the foundation of who they are. And that, yeah, I left 1/3, right? Because there's work that's yet to be done. Or put in the comment if I'm off, right? If somehow if I'm hearing words that's not there, right? Or or if I'm taking away words that are there, somebody let me
A
know.
100 years from now, you wouldn't know your machine at all. So much improvement has been had. Like the Ford, who made the Ford car, Ford motor, all right? If Ford would look at his car today, he would say he was dumb when he, was started making the car because look at the improvement on it. You see, it's not Ford have put all of this improvement to the car, but he was the founder of the car. So it is with wise men in the spiritual work and other sciences that we worship the God that has made and created. We have them coming at interval when one's wisdom is exhausted, another one picks up and he improves on what you have done. Like the God that divided our planet. He was wise enough to want to have his word bond 100% and let every man know that he was to speak the same language and do the same thing. And this was against nature. The world, the heavens and the earth was not created like that. They varied. And so, therefore, this man failed and he got angry and said, well, since they want be like I want them to be, I will destroy myself in them too. Well, he missed because that it just the universe is made in such way by the creator that you can't destroy it yourself and you can't destroy the people of the creator.
They may change in time.
Yeah, regardless to what you plan, as you may think today, know today that Russia and America have the most deadliest and the most destructive weapons that ever has been fashioned by any scientist of war of the past. But nevertheless, if they say that they can destroy the human being on this earth 3 times or 10 times if they want it, they can't do it. Regardless of what weapons you may use to destroy all life on the earth, you will fail. Because there is someone sitting back behind the curtain that you don't know, that knows what you know. And he knows an enemy that can destroy the enemy that you have fashioned. This is the way it was in the time of this man, just trying to destroy our planet. Reason I take up this talk with you, because we're in a time that the same thing is in the mind of this people. They would like to destroy the whole entire human family of the earth if they are destroyed. Each one. What I mean to say, the scientists of Russia and America,
these war scientists, they are ready to destroy each other and has prepared themselves to do so. But a solid scientist know what they have prepared and know they can do so if they were given the freedom. But they will not be given the freedom to destroy all human beings. You can't do it. There always is left one from that same family at the beginning who has the key. He holds the key. And you can't get the key. What I mean, the key is the key to the knowledge how to control the powers of the nature in which the universe has been created in. When you are lucky enough to land that key to control the powers we say of nature, then you can rule anyone that will rise up as your enemy, because there is no people today that can control the power or the forces of nature, but a few. They're only a few, and they secret. You don't know them. If you see them, you would not know them. And they have been here all the while. What I mean, when he died, he leaves it with his son, and his son keeps it. It goes like that. And there is no such thing as the earth or the people being able, or the scientists of this world being able to destroy the whole thing, though they are able to do it, but they can't do it. This man was able to do it. He drilled a tube into our planet at that time, which had a diameter of better than 10,000 miles. And he drilled a tube into it like you mining coal. And he went on into a couple of thousand miles into the planet. Not a couple of miles, but a couple of thousand miles. He put the tube in it. They filled the tube with high, explosives. It was dynamite, but it is not the weak kind that is used at the present day. It was that dynamite, 70% stronger or highly explosive than this that they are using today. It was most powerful. And therefore, he filled that tube up and he let go. He thought that that would be the end of the whole thing. But he missed. This part that we are on dropped 36,000 miles from its original pocket that it was rotating in from the blast of this explosion. And the explosion taking the part that we have now for moon. As all scientists or astronomers, they admit that the moon is a part of the earth. It's the essence of the earth, only don't have no water on it. And that part was blasted 12,000 miles away from the original pocket before it turned off over and lost the water.
Which is now on Earth as we...
Yeah. The Earth now has the water that was on that part. And that makes this part 3/4 covered with water because it taken that part. We didn't used to have this much water in our atmosphere. We have at sea level here, very much water. But when the moon and the earth was together, we didn't have it. A man cannot be enslaved that have equal knowledge. It takes an inferior for a superior to enslave. And therefore, we were brought here 400 years or more ago, according to the history, and that
the white man, the slave masters, deprived our fathers of the knowledge of themselves. And therefore, they have not taught them the true knowledge of themselves, nor the true history of their people, even dating back to the 11th century. They don't teach them that. When that they were, I would say, in very, very, not say like they once was before this, but in the 11th century, they had control of Africa, and they had very fine governments at that time there, and they had very smart scientists at that time, and our people don't know anything about that. That history was never given to our people. The white man don't teach you anything about yourself other than from the time he brought you here. And a little knowledge of how savage our fathers probably was in the jungle. But actually, civilization of our people is not been given to us. And this is the time that they must know themselves, because that we're at the crossroads, or we would say at the point of departure. We must depart. We must be separated now. And therefore, you cannot be separated unless you have the knowledge of yourself. You cannot go for yourself without the knowledge of yourself. And this thing is very, I would say, touchy to talk on. As I said in the beginning, truth hurts. Now, there are many of our people thinks that the white man is not so bad after all, and he's not so good after all. But we get the nature of a thing, and the nature gives us then the whole. We were brought here by the white people for slave purposes, and not for to be made citizens. We didn't acquire citizenship papers to come here. We were brought here as a piece of property. And to keep that piece of property, it is to not allow the property to know the value of the property. And what I mean by that, if you had known the history of yourself, you would not have been made a slave. And you won't be a slave now if you have a knowledge of yourself. It's hard to enslave a person that have equal knowledge with you. You just can't do it. And so this knowledge of yourself is the thing that will free you from what you have been suffering from. That is the enslavement or service given to the white race, and they caring for you, preparing for you, and you not preparing for yourself, nor that you study for yourself, nor your people, and you are not with yourself and people to do nothing for self and people because of the lack of knowledge. So this is one of the greatest, we say, wrong or evil that a man can do to another. That is to rob him of the knowledge of himself. You can't find an equal evil to that than to rob a man of the knowledge of himself. That's the worst people that you can do to a person. So this is the trouble with people here. They have been robbed of the knowledge of themselves, as the Bible teaches you there in Isaiah, where it teaches that this is a people that is robbed and spoiled and is in prison houses and whatnot. That is us. That is not some people in ancient time. That's us. We are the one the Bible is referring to. And the white man is the one who have robbed us of the knowledge of ourselves and have spoiled us. We are a people that has been robbed and spoiled. Now, to get your knowledge, just who you are, you have to have the knowledge of the slave master. And to go into that, you have to go far enough into the knowledge of yourself to convince the slave master that you know yourself. What I mean by that, you will have not to go back to his history. You got to go beyond his history. Because if you stop at his history, you will not yet be his equal. He still will be your superior. But if you have knowledge beyond, then you can easily see the white man and his civilization and see yourself as not making any preparations whatsoever for yourself. You're not writing any history for yourself. Not one day you are writing history for yourself. All the history that you make here goes to the credit of the white man. You're not making no history for yourself.
Sir, do you think that there are the Negroes who have such a heavy identification with the Caucasian that they are afraid and ashamed to know something about themselves? And this is a reason why they do not want self-knowledge.
I don't say that. A man that don't know, he just don't know. And you cannot say that a man is he shunning oncoming car when he don't know one is coming. So I would not say that. I just say it's due to his absolutely blindness. He just don't know. If you go to Howard or Harvard or Yale, you return with a degree for a certain course, right? All right. When you get back here with that course, you should be able to do as the white man who went to the same university. He comes back and he makes a way for himself and his people. You come back and you still looks to him, right? You don't make no way for yourself. You come back going to his office, asking him, showing him your degrees that he gave to you, that I can do this job. Instead of going to your people, saying to your people, look, I know this now. Come on, follow me and I will show you how to do something for yourself. This is not mine, because that we don't have the mind or knowledge of self. And therefore, we just have the knowledge that we are taught in school, education, from grade school to the universities of the white man. And yet, they don't know who we are. Nowhere in the courses of your studies teach you a third knowledge of yourself.
Sir, does Christianity keep us from a knowledge of ourselves?
Yes. Yes, Christianity keeps you a knowledge, keep you from the knowledge of self.
How does it?
That's what it was made for. Christianity is one of the number one slavery teachings. That's the most worst slavery teaching you have is in that religion, Christianity. If it was a piece of wet cloth, if you wring it out, every drop would be right slavery. There's no such thing as a life of knowledge in Christianity for you and me. It's a fine tool for the white man. I don't blame the white man for using these things if he, make them. That's his makeup. Here, you must remember, Christianity was not organized by no prophets. No prophets of God organized that religion. No. But they uses a prophet name and a good one in order that you may accept it. But it is not from Jesus at all. Jesus knew nothing about Christianity.
Who is it from?
Well, it's from the slave-making people. It's from the white people. It's an organized religion. Islam is not an organized religion. Islam is the nature of God and the nature of you and I. So it is not a religion and cannot be considered a religion, because a religion is something that is organized or something that scientists set up to use, or an object of worship, or caught of some rules that they use to rule the people with. But Islam is different. Islam is the nature of you and I. It is the nature of God. That's why it don't have any beginning, no birth record. Islam.
It is that 98% of the Negroes, so-called Negroes, have not accepted Islam as being their true religion. And that 2% are with me. But others will have to be chastised into knowing and the knowledge of Allah, God of salvation.
You take, for instance, the meanings of Islam only means entire submission to the will of God. All right. 98% of our people, when they heard the name Islam, they think it's something strange. They never heard that before. They don't think it's a religion of God. It is because the Arab word Islam for submission. I submit to God, or I submit to the will of God. That's Islam.
This is the first time. This is the first that I heard. Right? Maybe I missed something. This is the first time I've heard this kind of talking. Right? 1 minute, 1 hour, and 31 minutes. 1 hour and 31 minutes in, right? And we first hear this talk about submission, right?
Not that it is something contrary. When a man says he don't believe in Islam, that's a man that don't believe in God. You see, and a man say I will not be a Muslim. It's a man that is telling the world, I will not submit to the will of God.
Holla! Wait a minute. Did we catch that? Hey, listen. Brother Jabbar, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. But let's listen to Elijah say it one more time. What is this will of self? What is that? What does that mean?
Allah, God of salvation.
You take, for instance, the meanings of Islam only means entire submission
submission to the will of God. All right. 98% of our people, when they heard the name Islam, is, they think it's something strange. They never heard that before. They don't think it's the religion of God. It is because the Arab word Islam for submission. I submit to God. I submit to the will of God. That's Islam. Not that it is something contrary. You know, when a man says he don't believe in Islam, that's a man that don't believe in God. You see, and a man say I will not be a Muslim. It's a man that is telling the world I will not submit to the will of God. But they don't know that. They don't even take time to ask you what their name means. They don't know and don't ask for the meaning. So we have here 98% of our people, they even have not even never heard of Islam. Our people was never taught Islam. The white people don't teach Islam. There is some white Muslims here in the country. I have several letters from white Muslims, but they don't teach you Islam. It's a religion that the white people don't teach the black man. They know it is a whole world. It's not an organization, it's a world. But they don't teach you, they commercialize on it. They take it and use it in higher masonry, they call it, and there they must commercialize on the religion. At certain degrees, like 32nd, 33rd, they say they are Muslims, Shriners. They make a mark of the religion and they commercialize on, they sell it to you. And to get that degree, it may cost you $500 or more than that. Everybody can get that degree. And the so-called black, rather Negro, the so-called Negro Americans, he's never taught degrees right. He is given 3 or 4 degrees at once, while he should not be given but 1 degree at a time. And then he would learn what he's trying to learn.
But what do you mean by being chastised into the knowledge of Allah? How do you mean chastised?
Well, you are not an enemy of God. You are God's people. You were made, you have no beginning. You are God's people. And that He wants you to take your place as a member of your own nation. And when the father wants a child to do what he wants him to do, he whips him, he chastises him, right? But if you don't want to train to teach that child, you leave that child, go to his parents. Tell him, says, you don't belong to me, you go on to your parents. I got nothing to do with you. But your child, you love that child. And you want to teach the child a certain course. And if he won't learn, you will whip him and make him to learn. Well, this is what God will have to do for you. Since you want to accept it free and be taught, peacefully and brought into it, he will chastise you. Chastising comes in many various ways. It comes sometimes by law of, relatives, good friends, and loss of property, and you maybe have other ways that you will be conscious to the fact that you've been going through with this because I did not accept Islam. That man was telling me or teaching me right, and I didn't believe it. he makes you conscious to that fact. As the Holy One said that God never chastise a person, people, until he makes them aware of what he's chastising them for. So the so-called American Negro will be chastised with what the Holy One and Bible, in the revelation of the Bible, refers to as grief stricken, being stricken with grief. And this grief will be so severe that you will wish that you was dead. You will ask people to kill you to get you out of it.
Well, now, of course, grief can take many forms. Do you mean all forms, physical, mental, so forth and so on? But what do you mean?
Mental. Over rejection of the truth, and you'll be terrified in this grief by this evil that you have committed. All your evil take forms, and you see them visible in forms. This will be just to terrorize you. And, well, it's a terrible thing. It's so terrific at times that you won't be able to even blink your eye nor move your hand or feet.
And this will be the way of chastisement.
Yes, sir. That will go on for about a year or two. And if you don't change in about 3 years, well, then you will be burned. That will be the end of you. As this world, as you have always been taught, will be destroyed by fire. And that's right. All the scientists know that the world of the white man will be destroyed by fire.
And when you speak of the world being destroyed by fire, you speak of the white man, the devil, his world.
That's right. That's right. It will burn. This is the only place, so not Europe, nowhere but right here in America. This place will be the one that the Bible refers to as a lake of fire. Not even South America. It won't be. It will be affected, but it won't be burned. But this place here will be set afire divinely by the exploding of that. It will cause all what we have here now as atmosphere, we call it. It all will be fire. No atmosphere, no water, nowhere. All fire. And in all, it'll be 1,000 years before ever that human life can live here where you and I are now living.
And only those who have accepted Allah and Allah has accepted them will be saved. Now, when does this fire come?
That's like asking me, when is the day of judgment? That's the end, brother. That's the place. That's known only to Allah. All we are told is something near to that time, but we are never told the date. No,
within a matter of
no man knows the actual date, but God Himself. But we, well, it is said that the year is known, and some of the scientists know the year.
Do you know the year, sir?
I didn't say I know the year. I said some of the scientists know the year, and that these things will come, and we are living right in the door of it now. This world's time was up according to the word of Allah. It was supposed to be the end of this world in 1914. They all knew that. What I mean, the scientists. And the extension of time is due to the resurrection. The resurrection have to take place before ever there can be a destruction of the present world or this way of civilization. We have had, according to the teaching of Almighty God Allah, many gods that set up worlds in the past. And they had civilization of this or that type. But when the next one comes in, this is all erased. So you won't pattern after the other man, you see. And the same goes for this world. When this world is destroyed, you won't be able to get nothing from it.
There will be nothing to influence
Nothing
the next.
more, nothing. Like the Bible teaches you, it says it will be destroyed in all its works. Meaning everything, even this. You won't have the picture of the lamp. You will have to make your own lamp. This was for this God in this world. Now you must build from your brains yourself another world. And everything is different. You are not allowed to pattern after the others because they destroy all the markings and signs of it. All the libraries is destroyed. As you today, and I know that according to history, Noah, his people was destroyed, and there was a few towns and cities there, and we have no knowledge of their civilization, no more than just a word or two here and there. Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, but you have no knowledge of their history because there was none saved. The library was burned up, and therefore you can't get no knowledge of what they, how they carried on. Only that they was wicked. That's all we know, and that they did this kind of wickedness. But how they build, what they build from, and how they formed or made this or that, no, you don't get that.
Well, now, when the fire comes, sir, there will be a certain people who will be saved from this fire. They will be in the next world.
Yeah.
Will they not be able to carry some of that information from their world to the next?
Yeah, you will have some knowledge of what you just left from for a time, but you'll be put in a place where it won't be published. It won't be put in no books, and you won't be allowed to speak the language anymore. That also goes for the next one. You won't even speak this language.
And you will learn again and anew.
Everything will be said to you in the other language. And you won't be allowed to say lamp. You're going to call this after the other language.
It will not be allowed.
Not
So, and there you have it. So I put the I put the I put the link right there just in case anybody wants to speak. You know, I saw that you know, Prime Phoenix couldn't manage to be quiet throughout the whole video. So I don't know if he really has something he wants to say, but we'll leave the door open for that. But you know, for everybody, you know, what the, you know, how did you digest that? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there was a lot of things in there for anybody who, you know, just coming into the knowledge, and you know, you being exposed to these, you know, you just being exposed to these types of ideas, right? So I Chief said I used to think Elijah was a 10%, but I understand what he's saying better now, right? This is what I've been saying the whole time. So Adept Chambers said, "On earth as it is in heaven." Uh, can you break that down for us? He said he says the truth, but he also says that most of his people can't handle the truth. Hey, you know, this is this is a big part of what kind of inspired me to do these videos. Is we're under the impression that we're able to handle the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, see, like Elijah Muhammad was saying right there, when you can't handle the truth and make your own decision, then you're going to get burned. Now, of course, I don't think, that no fire and brimstone is going to rain down from the sky. Right? But I understand, in the figurative sense, right? From the standpoint of, you know, you're gonna go through hell and not come out right. But I was looking for a breakdown of that statement. You said, "On earth as it is in heaven." Anybody else? Did Elijah leave y'all speechless? Maybe look. Maybe I should just let Elijah. Maybe I should just let it lay right there. But see, you said what Elijah said, man. You heard what Elijah said. I mean, it's that see, people. I think wisdom has to come. And see, we talking about from this 1964, right? That's 61 years. L7 said, I find it interesting that he says Far didn't want to be worshipped, and he says here that there will be more after him, and yet they both, Elijah and Far, end up being worshipped. See, like I said, when there's a message, right, you either understand the message or you don't. Mental and physical power, right? That's from the adept chamber because some of the other stuff you said just all together. See, because and this means this goes for mental and physical too, right? See, the earth is a part of the heavens. See, the ideas that you have, they travel through your nervous system. The same way, if you looking up and you saying that those are heavenly bodies, you saying that as if the earth is not in the mix of these heavenly bodies as well. So then it's the projection of your perspective. So when we look at it from a universal perspective, right? If I say if I say move an object with your mind, and then you take your hand and move it over there, where that came from. So see, you know that that perspective where you came from right there, the mental and physical power, understand that that's the same as black and brown seed. You know what I'm saying? Like, one, you can't have the body without the mind. Like if you see a body, it ain't on mine, call the coroner. If you look, this is what we teach, that we haven't experienced no disembodied spirits or any things of that nature. Right? We don't know of these things to exist. So, that's why I asked you about that science. You know what I'm saying? Because, right, universal. See, we God of the universe. See, all those planes, a lot of this stuff is like, yeah, for the purpose of studying, right? We look at things individually from their perspective. You know what I'm saying? But, just like you got different systems within the body, but you can't just take one out. And you can't just remove the digestive system and then with your mind power, you still exist. Anybody else, man? I guess I don't know, man. I guess everybody is probably it's probably, I guess it's a lot of new people. A lot of people just getting exposed over here. So look, I'm not gonna drag it out, because sometimes that's what happens, right? When you get that amount of information that Elijah Muhammad just gave everybody, right? It takes time to digest that. Like, it's things that you caught and you don't even realize that you caught it yet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you got to go back and listen to it again. So either way, look, we're gonna go ahead. You know what I'm saying? If any new people tuned in with us today, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we're not finished. There's actually another interview. There's another interview. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a colored man. And then there's also a documentary. I think it's something about the hate that hate caused, or something like that, with Mike Wallace. We're not going to be checking that one. He said, "What was it that I was showing?" Well, when did you tune in? You mean what was my point of what did I want people to see? Or did you just tune in so you didn't really catch what it was that we was doing? You didn't catch it? All right. So what we just saw was that was about an hour and 45-minute video of Elijah Muhammad being interviewed by a brother named Buzz Anderson. I'm not familiar with Buzz Anderson. I don't know much about him, except that he did this interview, and he went through a great many things, that you see in the lessons, from uh, the tribe of Shabazz to the making of the devil, the deportation of the moon. There was a couple of other things in there, but what was my point in showing it? I originally wanted to show, right, was that Elijah Muhammad uh, his teachings is that the 5% would rise. And so there was, a couple of spots. There was 3 or 4 spots in there that I thought that he really illustrated that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, there was a lot of other jewels in there. So for the most part, we let Elijah Muhammad cook. But we have some questions because recently we've had a lot of individuals who contend that the 5% is baby knowledge. That particular idea is not new. I've been hearing that the entire time that I've had the knowledge, right? That the 5% is something that you're supposed to graduate from into the mosque. But in fact, we heard Elijah Muhammad say that, once you know who God and who the devil is, that, that there's not much left for you to be told. We see Elijah Muhammad here speaking about how, listen, you're not always going to have the benefit of whoever came before you. That you're going to have to look inside of yourself. He said, from your own brain, you're going to have to manifest the truth. See, I seen, Elijah Muhammad say that, see, the power is in us of what we do with these teachings. Those were my specific points. But the knowledge of all those other things that he had there. You know what I'm saying? Because look, if you notice, right, some of the questions you could hear, some of them you couldn't really hear. But if you notice, most of the answers is included in 120 lessons. Like when they was asking him about Christianity, without question, right? If you know the lessons, you heard the power degree in the 114. You know what I'm saying? You heard the understanding born degree, right? When the gods take the devil into hell in the very near future. Like, look, in the very near future, like he said, he's not going to give a date, right? We heard him talk about the expiration date of the devil, 1914. We heard him speak pretty much from the wisdom knowledge degree to the understanding to the understanding culture degree, right? In terms of the making of the devil, where he started from, Yakub's idea, from him being exiled to the island of Patmos. You know what I'm saying? In general, most of the answers came straight out of 120 lessons. So, I guess at the end of the day, the question is on the table. The question is on the table, okay, how does anybody who feels like this is baby knowledge, right, address these points? Address these points right here. So is that about it? Is that everybody? Is it time? Is it time for us to let this be digested? You know, because look, tomorrow, you know, if I come on, it's gonna have to be short because I already know the comment section. The comment section is gonna be bubbling tomorrow. So, like I said, you know, if you're new to the channel, right, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know, like I said, we got another one of these interviews. I think it's about the same amount of time. I think. Uh, you know, and we're gonna hear straight from Elijah once again. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else that's you know, always here with us, do the each one teach one, hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? And in the meantime, in between time, I'm gonna be out and I'm prepared for the comment section tomorrow. Peace.